Hello and welcome to autoportal.com, the car buying website that helps you buy better. Well, with the new i20, Hyundai clearly is aiming at Maruti's jugular and wants to take the crown of the best premium hatchback from the Swift away. So does it really have what it takes to be the number one car in its segment? And is it worth the premium price over the hatchback king? We'll find out on the show today. Well, the i20 isn't all about the looks, it's also very practical to live with, and Hyundai have done that by giving you a very nice and spacious boot. Well, as you can see, it's very well shaped. It's a square boot, which means you can load in those big heavy boxes in it. There's a bit of a loading lip, but we can forgive that because it is a deep boot. It's 285 liters in space, but because it is so well shaped, you can really load it up to the brim. Good job by Hyundai. Well, there's a bit of a loading lip when you see the boot of the Swift first, and it's not as deep or as spacious as the Hyundai i20s. In fact, if you are planning a weekend getaway from the city, this car will struggle to accommodate the entire family's luggage. The boot and practicality round goes to the Hyundai i20. Well, first things first, this black and red seat cover does not come as part of the standard equipment. This car offers an all-black interior, including the seats, and of course this is something that the owner of this car has put on. And the first thing you'll notice about the Swift is that headroom is pretty decent, but legroom at the back is not really very generous, and that can be an issue if you are tall. I'm 5'10" for reference, and I've got just about adequate legroom here. Also, it doesn't offer a very wide cabin at the back, so sitting three over here will be a bit of a tight squeeze, and there's a bit of a transmission tunnel as well when you compare it to the i20. Well, when compared to the Swift, the i20 really has the edge in rear seat comfort because it gets AC vents at the back, which really help the passengers keep cool on those long journeys. And also, the floorboard is very, very flat, which means whoever's sitting here in the middle has enough space to stretch his legs out. And also, another good point about this car is good headroom and very good width, which the Swift does not have. And that simply means that sitting three in comfort over here is really, really possible on those long journeys. Well, the front seats on the Swift are the best in this segment. There's no doubt about that. The seat scob is really nice and comfortable. The bolstering is very good. And if you are on that long highway trip, these are the seats which you really want to be in because they are supreme on comfort. Well, in terms of equipment, the Swift really can't take on the Hyundai i20 because even though the ZXi and ZDi versions come pretty well kitted, they don't offer things like Bluetooth connectivity or a rear parking camera. And these are things which really now feel that this car should offer as standard, especially when the competition like the Hyundai does. In terms of practicality, it's pretty decent. You get one cup holder over here, you get one cup holder in front of the passenger, and you get a shelf here to house those coins or cards in. And there's one shelf close to the driver as well, just to house those coins. The gauges, though, look really sporty and very, very energetic and very youthful. Well, not only does the new i20 look brilliant on the outside, the cabin quality and the materials used are absolutely first rate on the inside as well. And this really is a very, very feel-good cabin. The money you will be spending on this car really does seem to be justified by simply the cabin quality. It's absolutely brilliant, and the beige-black combination works really well. Well, when you compare this car with the Suzuki Swift, this really feels a class ahead of that car because this cabin feels much more roomy and much more airy than that. And because the windows are so big, you really do get a sense of space inside this cabin. And the quality is slightly ahead of the Swift, as well as the overall equipment levels. Even though the ZDi comes well equipped, the Swift ZDi, the Hyundai really trumps it on a lot of things, including Bluetooth connectivity, 1 GB of hard drive space, as well as parking sensors and a cool glove box, which the Swift does not offer even as an option. Well, the Swift comes with two engine options. There's a 1.2 petrol, which we are driving today. It delivers about 85 bhp of power. And then, of course, there's the 1.3 diesel, which develops about 75 bhp of power. And both engines are pretty good in terms of responsiveness. Of course, we are driving the petrol, and we will talk about that today. It really is a very responsive and very refined petrol engine, and in fact, it's also very fuel efficient. Maruti claims about 18.6 kmpl, and going by this car and its category, we believe those figures, and I think those are good figures considering the class that this car really is in. The ride quality is a little hard, which means that on the highway it's pretty good, it's pretty stable and very reassuring. But in the city, some of the potholes and some of those speed breakers can enter the cabin. Well, one area where the Swift still has the edge over the Hyundai i20 is in driver involvement. The steering is very communicative, the gearbox is really very crisp and slick to operate, and this chassis is very agile. If you push it into corners, it really will reward you. So really, if you are a keen driver and you do enjoy going to the hills and pushing your car through those bends, then the Swift really is the car to go for. It really does offer a lot of involvement and a lot of keenness about itself. Well, the new i20 comes with the same set of engines as before, so you get the same 1.2 litre with about 82 bhp of power and the same 1.4 with about 90 bhp of power, and today we've got the 1.2 petrol for you. Well, because the gearbox is so nice and easy and light to use, this is a car with which you don't have to constantly keep shifting gears, and because the spread of power is so nice and so easy, it really is an effortless car. You don't really have to constantly shift gears and press the clutch all the time when you are in town. Well, this 1.2 litre unit from Hyundai is a very fuel efficient unit. In fact, Hyundai claims a figure of 18.6 kpl, which is pretty good considering this segment, and also considering the size of this car. It's a big car. At the end of the day, it's one of the bigger small cars in the market. Well, there's very little to choose between this car and the Maruti Swift when it comes to engine refinement and engine responsiveness. Both the engines are supreme on refinement and both are very responsive as well, and that really goes to show you how much technology development both the manufacturers have made in their petrol engines. Well, the i20 still does not have the edge over the Swift when it comes to dynamic handling. The Swift still is more of a driver's car, and there is a bit of body roll when you push the i20 into corners, and the steering is pretty light, which makes it a good car around town, but it's not as communicative as you would like it to be when you are pushing it into that fast corner. So really, the Swift still has the edge in that department over the i20. Well, in terms of high-speed ride, again, it's very evenly matched, but the i20 doesn't feel as reassuring as the Swift does when you do about 120, 130. This car feels a little light on its feet, but that said, there's very little to choose from, and honestly speaking, I'm just nitpicking right now. Both cars are very closely matched when it comes to high-speed ride. Well, so in the final analysis, it really is the Hyundai i20's length and breadth of abilities which gives it the edge over the Swift. It comes with a very plush cabin, an exhaustive list of features, in fact features which some cars don't even offer as options, a very compliant ride, and a refined set of engines, which really makes this car the one to own in the premium hatchback segment. And as always, if you want to know more about these two cars and their rivals, head to our website autopole.com, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on this link above. It's bye for now, and hope to see you soon.